Hey everybody, welcome to Murder Moose. I'm Rod, and with me is Jerry. What's up, buddy?
What is going on? Time number two.
I was gonna say this is attempt number 2. We had an hour and 45-minute episode recorded Thursday night, and Jerry's like, as soon as he got done, he was gonna go eat, and his PC booted on him and rebooted on him, and he lost everything. And he's like, "Dude, I lost." I'm like, "No!" And so we are here recording again because I still want to talk about Halloween Kills, even though like I think we're like the last ones in the world to do it. But it doesn't matter, man. We have a good time bullshitting, and we just like hang out anyways.
That's what it feels like. It feels like more like a hangout than like a set agenda. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah, me too, dude. It's why we get along and it works out. We are here at Murder Moose, part of the Slash and Cast podcast network. So don't forget that, because I always forget things. So I was to say, we talked about a lot last time, including our hangout in California. I went out with my wife to LA last week. Went to a wedding, went to Universal, went to Disneyland. Well, we got to hang out and go do a little bit at Halloween Horror Nights. We did the Halloween 4 maze, which took us an hour and a half to get through, or even get to, but we had a good time. It was a lot of cool shit, man.
Mm-hmm. No, I loved it. I didn't get to see as much as you did because I had like the regular passes, and my brother's like super impatient. So like the moment that we went into that Texas Chainsaw line and it was like a 2-hour wait, I immediately knew that I would never get in that Texas Chainsaw maze with my brother. So I was like, okay, well, guys, if you don't want to go in here, we don't have to. And immediately, like, my brother and his wife was like, okay, cool. I was like, fuckers. Yeah. But yeah, that Halloween 4 maze, dude. Like, I knew what to expect because I saw, like, the YouTube videos and stuff.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't. But that didn't affect it whatsoever. I screamed and I jumped like a cat at one point. Yeah. I think I kind of scared or startled the Dr. Loomis actor.
I laughed about that so hard because that guy looked really good, except that motherfucker was about 1.5 feet too tall to be Loomis. That guy was,
and he was so thin. Like I was heavier than the Dr. Loomis character.
He looked so much like Loomis, but he was the guy had to have been 6 feet tall.
And dude, you know what the fucking worst part was? And you spoke on this last time, and we talked privately about this before. Yeah. It fucking sucks how many people they let into the maze. Because I couldn't even get my phone out to take a good picture of that Loomis thing. And Halloween 4, Halloween 4 is like the shit for me. So that maze, I would have been happy if I had only gotten that maze. Yeah. But so I wanted to take as many pictures as possible in between shit in my pants. And like I got this super blurry thing of Loomis where it almost looks like it's a lenticular cover because these motherfuckers, you know, the whole room was filled with people.
Yeah. It was so that was the first thing my wife and I hit up like right because that one was right towards the entrance of the park. And so like right after we had been in Universal the rest of the day. So as soon as it switched over, we got in and went in, and it was a significantly better experience because you weren't like crowded like that. Right. And so you were like, fine, this fucking sucks, but like, it's so good. And you understand why, because they're trying to make as much money as possible. And those things have to be expensive to run because you have so many people in them, right? Like,
no, totally. Actors and stuff.
Yeah, actors and just like.
I get it. I totally get it. But like as the night went on, like my wife and I wanted to go on as much as possible. So we were ready to like ditch my brother at some point. Yeah. But earlier that day, you know this, but earlier that day in the morning, I got up to wake my kids up and I tripped over my stairs. Because my wife and our room is in the attic of our house. Yeah. So I tripped down the stairs over my cat and I fell and I felt this very sharp pain. I looked down and my toenail's like this way, all the way up. So I had to hurry and go to urgent care. They had to put 5 or 6 shots in my toe and basically break the entire toenail off. So dude, while that doesn't seem like the end of the world, I didn't realize that it would be the most painful thing almost that I've ever experienced. Yeah. So walking through Universal as much as we did was seriously, it was fucking so painful. Yeah. So dude, so I mean, I get it, but I wanted to go on everything. And we saw the thing at Universal. It's just like, well, starting at 11 p.m., we'll have reduced rates on express passes. And we figured 11 p.m., it closes at 2, we'll pay the extra. Yeah. So we went over there and asked them, and they were like, yeah, it's going to be $100 each ticket. And I go, at 11? Yeah. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, all right, well, I guess we're not seeing half of the mazes.
Dude, I can't believe, because when we went to that Halloween 4 maze, you sit there and you go, we got to the very end in the regular line, and then you watch them let through the express lane people through, and they just keep letting them through, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, it's not even just a short line. They go, these motherfuckers paid more, and my wife and I had one express per thing because my dumbass didn't realize the tickets were different, and so we had to pay $325 a person. So we dropped $650 ish, to
for
go
one day.
We're like, okay, we are hitting every single fucking maze like this because that's how long it took.
Yeah.
It was while Jerry and his wife and his brother and his wife went into the Transformer ride, which was a 20-minute ride. My wife and I did 2 mazes that had 2-hour wait times. That's how it was, and then we were sitting there waiting for them to come out. That's how
it almost it was. See, dude, that pass, the express passes are so fucking bomb. Like, they're cool, and I get it, but I find it like so classist.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like there's people who can't afford it in the line, and no offense to the people who can. I mean, it's Universal's fuck up, but there's people on the line that are like, okay. And then there's people that just walk right in and go through to where, like, by the end of it, like, dude, we were all secretly about to kill you. No, we weren't.
Yeah. No, I mean,
No, it's nothing to do with you.
I know. But the thing was, I wouldn't, that I only bought it because it was the only way I was getting in at that point. But, which is bullshit, because you go into Universal at the end of the day, it looks like you can buy the passes off of the regular universe. It's all just a fucking scam, man. It's like all like, we're gonna get as much money out of these motherfuckers as possible.
Well, and you guys, you guys paid for like the express for Universal in general. You guys paid a pretty penny just to go. Yeah. So the fact that like you called them saying, "Hey, I didn't realize this. Is there anything that could be done?" And they're like, "No." Like, they were so weird.
They're like, have fun, get your, as you put it the other day, I mean, when we were talking about it, Universal hates lube. They just shove it in and you deal with the consequence.
And you're left with the pain, baby.
Yeah. It's funny, man, because there was a lot of stuff that was kind of interesting, but like all of it got drugged down by like how many people were in there. Like there was a cool Bride of Frankenstein maze. The Walking Dead maze was kind of interesting. There was like a lot of stuff that was interesting, but you're sitting there going, dude, like you're waiting an hour for one of these things at the minimum, and you just go, I mean, and then you're crammed in there so you don't get scared. I mean, you do get scared, but it's like not as much as it would be if it was just like you and someone walking down a hallway, right? And so,
well, that and like the worst part for me, I think, was like we had been waiting an entire year to go to this. And I haven't been to Horror Nights in at least 5 years. I mean, before I even met my wife, I used to go by myself every year. Yeah. And so I was so excited to fucking show it to her. Because, I mean, dude, it's such a good production.
Yeah.
It was so fucking shitty as far as the lines that, 1 second. I thought I had to cough, but it was a burp. So weird. But it was so shitty with the lines that, dude, the only mazes that we got to go on were Haunting of Hill House and Halloween 4. Everything else, we were just like, do we want to stand here for 2.5 hours? No, we'll just ride the rides. So we rode Harry Potter, we rode Transformers, we rode a lot of that shit. But dude, we got 2 mazes out of that entire thing, you know?
And then you broke the Harry Potter ride.
Dude, the last 3 times we've been on the Harry Potter ride, it is frozen when we're like put back almost upside down.
Yeah, when you guys were doing I think you were doing the tour, the Purge tour.
Oh yeah, we went on that too.
Yeah. My wife and I tried to go ride that, and like some Harry Potter person came through. Oh, this shit's broken. Basically, what they said, and you're like, God damn it. And we had ridden it earher in the day, but like,
and I was in the middle of fucking Quidditch, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know if I won that game.
Yeah. No. fucking dilling or Quidditch game. Yeah, it's weird. And it's because the weird thing too is like the California one doesn't offer any differences in prices compared to like the Florida one.
Yeah.
And the Florida one has double the stuff because it has more room, right? And so
what is in the Florida one?
Like the Florida one, like for Harry Potter, they have like they have the Hogwarts Express, and there's a ride where you rob the bank. So there's like 4 Harry Potter rides, yeah, and more stuff there. So it's like, and like the one of like there's another restaurant there that the California one doesn't have and stuff like that. So it's
you guys had the really good breakfast at the Three Broomsticks, right?
No, they didn't have it. So we went in. This is on a Friday, and they're like, oh, no breakfast till the weekends. So we went in there and we ate lunch there, but they weren't serving breakfast
till the weekends.
Yeah, and it was on a Friday we were in there, and they wouldn't. They were
dude,
like,
we've went so many times during the week and had that breakfast.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they, for some reason, they fucking messed with that too. You just start going, but yeah, it was a good. I mean, it was just so much money. I mean, it's like overwhelming how much money it is. But like, my wife and I hadn't done anything like that in a long time, so it was worth it. And that was like the first time we got to go on a vacation with just us, so it was nice. But man, my growing up lower middle class and Catholic, I was like having panic attacks over spending as much money as I did. But it's
I'm that kind of person out of my wife and I. I'm the person that even if we have a lot of extra money at the time, like I'm fine with buying her stuff. In fact, I love that shit. Love it. Like if I could buy my wife or my kids something, but I fucking hate it when people buy me stuff. Yeah. Not like in a noble way. For some reason, I don't know what it triggers or what, but I've gotten in like arguments with my wife over her doing the nicest fucking things ever to me.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Oh, dude, it's self-worth. I'm pretty sure because I do the same shit. So my wife had credit. She school fucked with her. She finished up her graduate degree last year, but when she finished it up, like, so she ended up like going to CU Denver, but like she couldn't go for another semester, like, and she had been going to community college, so she got an extra associate's degree because she was at the community college for an extra semester, anyways. And they didn't tell her when they did that. She was like for like federal loans, you could only get 2 degrees on federal loans, but no one told her that. So with her,
Jesus,
when she got an extra associate's degree, they were like, she transferred over to the CU Denver, and like, oh, okay, you can't get federal loans anymore. So she ended up having to put shit on credit cards, like these weird credit cards.
Yeah.
So this week she ends up like taking out a personal loan to like consolidate that, so like the interest rate goes down a little bit, and she's paying off like the major credit card I've been using for a long time. And I'm like, instead of being like immediately thankful for it, I'm like, well, I just asked her 20 questions because I'm like, you know, I'm like, and then I'm like, I'm grateful, but it's like, why for me? Huh? You know, it's like, I don't know, man. I think there's a self-worth thing that I'm fighting all the time. And
no, dude, I'm the same way. Really quickly, and this is actually really funny.
Yeah.
Really funny, and it's fucking wacky. Okay. So my dad, and I if this wasn't going on right this second, I wouldn't talk about this. Yeah. So my dad has like, and I'm not laughing because of dementia, because that's not funny, but my dad's slowly losing his fucking mind, right? Dementia. Yeah. And it's been going on for a while, and it's gotten consistently worse.
Yeah.
My dad, I think he means well, but he always like messages like women about like, oh, you look so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. And he sent like women pictures of him in his underwear. My dad was born in 1946, by the way.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm surprised that shit even works still, let alone like whatever. He just started commenting on a picture of my wife that she posted. And he was like, so gorgeous, so beautiful. And I don't know if that's dementia and he doesn't know who he's trying to hit. But I think my dad might be accidentally hitting on my wife right now. Like, how do you approach something like that?
Dude, I still remember the night we were talking about recording an episode, and like, you're like, I can't tonight. My dad disappeared. And then you like message me later. Yeah, we found him 4 miles down the road at a donut shop. And I'm like, well, at least he's got, like, he still knows what the fuck's up. Or like, even with the dementia, he knows that he likes pretty ladies and donuts. I mean, it's all that.
My dad out of nowhere joined Twitter and started following tons of creative people that follow me. And I had to message him saying, Dad, erase this app off your fucking phone, please. There's no reason for you to be like following Barbara Crampton and a bunch of other people. I don't want any of those people getting a picture of my dad's underwear in their inbox.
Oh my God, I love it. And he wouldn't realize that everybody could see it or something like that. And
dude, he got scammed. He got scammed earlier this year 5 times by the same people pretending that they're women. And they'll tell him that they're women, and they'll send him nudes of women that they find off the internet. My dad will send pictures of his old ass wiener back. And dude, they got him out of hundreds of dollars and got him caught up in this huge like card scam thing that my brother was just like, Dad, I love you, but I'm gonna kick you the fuck out if you don't stop this shit.
Yeah.
Oh no, dude, he realized, he thinks these people, he's like, oh, though these people would never scam me. This one works for the government. And I go, like, duh.
Dude, you know, Dad, I hate to tell you, people can act like there's someone else on the internet.
It's called catfish, Dad. Oh, this poor man.
Do you imagine like what's gonna happen when we're that age and like there's some new technology and we're like no, that's they're fine. It's not a cyber cat from Jupiter. I don't know what the fuck.
Dude, like, I full on will not do that. The first time I forget who I am, it's getting a shotgun.
Jumping in front of a fucking semi truck, man. Yeah, fuck that.
I'm not downplaying the seriousness of dementia. I'm just adding some levity to my dad's situation.
Dude, you have to like. It's because, man, that fucking shit sucks, and it sucks seeing someone lose their mind like that in a world where like everything's available to you. Like, you know, you're like, you have any information you want, but you're forgetting, your brain is just like erasing itself, and it's like, it sucks because we have all this shit in this world, we have all this technology, and we still so poorly understand the human mind and like how it works. And
I mean, I'm not trying to like take up an episode of Halloween Kills on like existentialism, but like it also shows like everyone said Jim Carrey kind of lost his shit and was off his rocker when he started getting really philosophical. That's when I started liking him a lot more. Yeah. It's like, dude, this idea of like identity and we're really not who we think we are. Like they're just chemicals telling us, this is who I am. This is who I am. And as those chemicals slowly get burned away by things like dementia, we lose track of like this kind of facade that we put on ourselves. You know, it's interesting and it's enthralling, but it's very fucking scary, dude.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you think about it, dementia is one of the scariest things. Alzheimer's, dementia, all that shit. Like, it's fucking horrifying, man.
Yeah.
That's what, like, I don't know how much I like the ending of it, but like the taking of Deborah Logan. Or that's what the name is.
Yeah.
That movie is fucking horrifying, and I think it was scary enough as just like an Alzheimer's dementia film, and then they turn it into the possession thing at the end. But like, it's such a like, and it's funny because that movie, I feel like so many people have seen gifs from that movie of her eating the motherfucker that like have no fucking clue what that movie is, because it's not exactly a super well-known movie, right? And
same thing happens with that Deathgasm meme.
Yeah.
You know, with like the black metal character next to like the really pretty girl. I've seen so many people share that, and I'm like, oh, you like that movie? And they're like, huh? Yeah,
they have no fucking clue. I haven't seen Deathgasm. It's one of those movies I know the gif you're talking about, but like, it's
dude, like, that fucking movie, man. That filmmaker burned his entire career in a span of 24 hours.
Did he really?
Deathgasm was so good, and then he made another movie that I fucking loved called Guns Akimbo.
Yeah.
And
Daniel. I like that movie. It's fucking
dude,
weird as shit.
I interviewed Daniel Radcliffe for that movie. I was so fucking stoked on that. I was like, yes. I got so fucking That's how that's my excited. Yeah. But anyways, I interviewed Daniel Radcliffe about that movie, and it's like, it's fucking Harry Potter, dude. And I had just gotten into the Harry Potter movies around that time because I was really late to the game. My wife was like lifelong fan, so she got me into him, and I fucking love him. So I was so stoked to talk to him. And I was a huge fan of Swiss Army Men and
I love
and Horns and so many other stuff, Woman in Black. So I was a huge fan just outside. I interviewed him, and the very next day, the director of Guns Akimbo basically set fire to his career by like going after what he thought was bullies by being a even bigger bully. And overnight, the release of that movie got fucking canned really quick. And the site I was writing for the time was like, yeah, we're going to shelve this interview. And I was like, what? So I have this interview with Daniel Radcliffe that has never seen the light of day because it's about this movie made by this dude who people got pissed at.
Yeah. Dude, I always love when people like Daniel Radcliffe who are just like, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want and I don't give a shit. Swiss Army Man is such a weird movie. And that movie, like, I really, really enjoyed it. And I think the ending of it kind of like not ruined it for me, but like it soured me on the rest of it because it was it felt like such a like this positive message about how you live your life and who you are. And then there's like the like mental illness into like domestic abuse kind of thing that happens at the end. You're like, you have like such a kind of a positive message with a weird positive message, and then you kind of throw that in there at the end, and you're like, because if it would have stayed happy, not even happy, it would have stayed like on that tone, I would probably own that movie and would have watched it a billion times. But then you know where it's going, and you're like,
well, that and like the first, I'd say 3/4 of that movie. It's such a good look on what it is to be human.
Yeah.
And it takes something as fucking silly and dumb as farts and boners and shit. And it really gets you thinking about these are part of being alive. These are things are part of being human. And it talks on suicide. It talks on mental health. It talks about just believing in yourself, believing in others. It talks about all these wonderfully profound fucking things. And the biggest message is if you don't know Jurassic Park, you don't know shit. You know, it talks on all these great things, and at the end, no, I agree with you 150%. I own the movie, but I don't think I've watched it in 3 or 4 years because the ending's just kind of like whatever after such a strong setup.
Yeah, it's just like it kind of makes sense, but it just makes the tone so much like grimmer. And
it's like Halloween 5 when you're scared shitless for 70% of it, and then there's bumbling cops and a man in black breaking Michael Myers out with an Uzi.
Yeah. I mean, dude, it's still to this day that fucking trash shoot scene with Danielle Harris is so fucking good compared to the rest of that movie. But like,
dude, the new 4K of Halloween 5 has the original opening that they cut out, and it has all the gore that was cut out deleted scenes, and you see the knife go in like Jamie's fucking leg in that laundry chute, and that's why she limps for the rest of the movie. And when she gets out of laundry chute, there's a huge blood thing. She gets stabbed in that scene, but they thought it was too fucked up, so they cut it out. It's really quick. Like this knife just goes in this leg, like
Dude, there was so much like the MPAA just fucked up so many movies in the late 80s, especially, right? Like they talk about it all the time.
Yeah, dude, they had such a fucking beef with anything horror.
Yeah, dude, fucking, I would legitimately say Friday 7 would be my favorite in the franchise if it hadn't been so like I love the concept and the lunacy of it and everything like that. Like we did an episode last year talking about our 5 like movies we want to watch on Halloween every year or around Halloween, and Friday 7 was one of them because that just is such a cool like. It's such a like different and like unique, and just said Jason's a ridiculous character, so we're gonna throw in another ridiculous character and Carrie, really, and just like you'd have these two battle, and it's fucking cool.
That's my son's favorite one right there.
Yeah,
and like there's a lot to love in that one, actually. Like, I don't know why that one gets so much hate. Like, it's so far removed from the first few. That's fine. I don't mind when like franchises take big swings. I really don't. It's if they take big swings that don't feel natural that I don't like. I'm not trying to piss off Adam Marcus for the millionth time by talking shit about his movie, but that's why I can't get on board with Jason Goes to Hell. It's like everything we love about this movie. I hate when people explain everything. And if you're going to explain everything, make it good. Don't make it organic. Don't make it bullshit. Like, I'm sorry. This kid that drowned because no one is paying attention to him, he's motivated by a fucking worm? Are you fucking kidding me? Like
a worm from hell. Dude, they did so much in that movie that's just like it's like the bringing the Necronomicon in because they owned
that.
Because it was New Line.
The fucking crate from Creep Show. Like, it's a fucking shit movie, and I try so hard, and I say this on Twitter all the time. Art is subjective. Every movie is someone's favorite movie. I'm not trying to talk shit. Jason Goes to Hell is one of the few exceptions to fuck that movie straight up.
It's not, dude. It's not. It's even Jason's design where his head looks like a testicle is just like is so weird, and like it just shows you how little. Again, it shows you how little. What do you call him? Knew about Sean
Cunningham fucking hated that series. It's like I'm not trying to get every fucking fanboy at me because I used to be one up until I was almost 30, where the fans ruined it, and I just do not want to pay attention. But it's like Star Wars. Star Wars used to be as big of a deal to me as Halloween. Like, I collected, I had a whole room full of that shit until I was almost 30. And to be honest, the fans fucking ruined it. I haven't seen the last two movies because I have no desire to. But it's like George Lucas. George Lucas was the worst thing that happened to the series at a certain point, and he created it. Like, you could tell that he wanted to be a documentarian. He wanted to make these very like avant-garde cinema verite movies. He made one sci-fi movie, and suddenly that was his career. You could tell that he fucking hates the movies by the prequels. You could tell he fucking hates them.
You could tell that the man really liked weird old cinema because he was making Seven Samurais, right? Like, he made Seven Samurais and turned it into. He's like, oh, I'm going to rip this off, but I'm going to make it a epic. That's why it wasn't Star Wars A New Hope Episode 4. It was Star Wars.
Yep.
And it was all it was. And he wasn't planning on doing everything he did, but like made enough fucking money. And you go, oh yeah. And it's what's up? We're talking about Halloween Kills here in a second, but like that's why whenever Halloween Kills makes as much money as it does, the ending of fucking Ends is going to be, they already said it, next year is going to be some ending where they can keep making Halloween movies, whether it's, we don't know. They're going to go.
I think the Ends is going to be the end of this contained. I think this contained this series. Yeah. I do, and people are going to get pissed. I do think they're going to do a fresh reboot after this again. I think this 3-movie thing, I think they're going to. And I hope they do. I really hope they do. I have an idea for it. I'm not saying I have an idea because I plan on writing it because I will never get that job. But I have an idea how to fucking get this franchise maybe away from the fans a little bit and give it a fresh perspective. I think Michael Myers should be dead.
Yeah.
I think none of the original characters should be in the next one. I think it should be, here's the deal. I think it should be Dr. Loomis's son is so fucking pissed that his dad spent his entire life chasing Michael Myers, that a serial killer's on the loose, and that becomes his way to vindicate his father not being there for him. So Minnie Loomis should go after this new motherfucker who will be the next fucking killer. We don't need Michael over and over. And I say that as someone who lives and breathes this franchise, because here's the deal. No one's going to be satisfied. No one is going to be satisfied no matter what the fuck it. Like, it's bullshit. At this point, wipe the slate clean. We don't need Michael Myers anymore. And please don't crucify me, everyone. But, like, Halloween's the best film ever made. And if you don't believe me, fuck you. But I'm feeling that way this morning. That, Halloween 4 is one of my favorite fucking movies. I will champion the series till I die. But there needs to be something fresh. And not like Halloween 3, like Anthology. Yeah. But, dude, we got to have something fresh. And basically, I'm just saying this just so I could score the next movie. So
dude, with that fucking soundtrack, that little EP you put out is so good, and I'm just like, you deserve the shot. They're never. I mean, they're doing some big fucking or John Carpenter or whatever they do, but man, it's.
The score to the new one, oh my god, man! Yeah. And I'm not saying that I want to score the next one to take that away from Carpenter, because obviously Carpenter should be chosen over me any day. But I think after Ends, I think he's going to be done with it. I really do. Yeah,
dude, we don't know how much longer that man's going to be alive. Like, not saying
don't
anything
say
bad.
that.
He's getting old. Every time you see him, you go, man, this man. He's looked old for a long time. To be honest, he looks like the cranky old man yelling at the clouds kind of thing. And even though I know he's not, because you actually hear him listen, he just kind of has that look.
My favorite little anecdote about John Carpenter from someone completely nothing to do with me is Mike Doherty, the director of Trick or Treat, said that he wrote and based that old crotchety man character on John Carpenter.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Man.
What's crazy is everyone says that dude's so cranky. I've met Carpenter a few times, and that dude could not be nicer. Oh, he was so fucking sweet.
He looks cranky, though. He's cranky.
He's cranky because he's tired of being asked the same fucking things. That's like when I did a roundtable interview with him once, and everyone kept asking the same fucking things, and he was so irritated. And I was just like, so have you played any cool video games lately? And he's like, well. And it was like I gave him like 5 shots of espresso.
Dude, that man, and you know what's funny is like, I feel like the only thing anyone gives a fuck about with him is Halloween. Like, they don't care about The Thing. They don't care about the Escape from New York. They don't care about The Fog. They don't care about anything that motherfucker did.
Straight up, and this is a fucking weird opinion, I know. John Carpenter is one of the only directors that I will honestly say he has not made a single movie I don't enjoy. The only movie that he's made that I'm not crazy on is Memoirs of an Invisible Man, because it's it's just not my cup of tea. But dude, this dude not only created, in my opinion, the best movie of all time, he created some of the best movies of all time. The Thing is fucking perfect. Yeah. And dude, my second favorite Carpenter movie is Prince of Darkness, which, like, dude, that movie would not be made this today, not because of anything offensive, because this dude's making a horror movie about quantum physics and existentialism and like metaphysical shit. And it's like, nobody would make that.
He could do it, but it would be
like, it would be an A24 movie.
Think of things, I mean, think of like, what is it? Primer. Like, it would be really small, like that kind of shit. And not that movie was very big, but like you think of like the low budget sci-fi kind of shit, or like.
That's another. Well, the fucking irritating thing, and I don't know why I'm so like moody right now. The fucking irritating thing
today,
right? The fucking irritating thing is, okay, so Jason Blum fucking talks Carpenter into coming back to the Halloween series, right? Like, dude, we're gonna make these with or without you. We'd rather you be involved because we need you. Comes back on as a producer. Kind of consults with the story each one. Like David Gordon Green just is waiting for notes on Halloween Ends from John Carpenter. So producer coming back to score all of them. You know goddamn well that Jason Blum would jump at the chance to finance a new Carpenter movie. The dude just doesn't want to do it. And I don't mean irritating like anything he's doing wrong. It's like, dude, his whole life now is basically playing video games, watching basketball, and smoking weed. And to be honest, isn't that the end game?
I would think so.
I don't.
Sounds like a good.
Like, I'm not a sports person, so I could do without the basketball. But playing video games and just like sparking it 24/7 and not having anyone bug you, doing music, like what the fuck, man? Like, I get why he doesn't want to, but I would kill for one more movie.
Yeah, what was his last movie? Was it
The Ward?
The Ward.
Yeah, with Amber Heard.
The Ward, that was the one that got like all fucked up by the studio, wasn't it?
The Ward was kind of like this low budget movie. It was all right. It was good. Yeah. But the problem with that one is everyone was like saying, well, you know, all Carpenter's doing is going into these horror tropes that everyone knows. It's like, motherfucker, he created some of those. Like,
he created a lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, we talked about it in the first like recording of this, but like Halloween was, it wasn't the first slasher because of things like, you know, Black Christmas and in Texas, but if you want to see what kicked off, look at the timeline. 78, and then you got in 80 is like Friday the 13th, all this stuff. It was because of fucking Halloween, and he made that whole fucking horror genre really pop in 80s, right? And so
it's like found footage. Like everyone says Blair Witch, Blair Witch. There were other found footage movies before Blair Witch. It's just what Blair Witch did, just like what Halloween did. It took the potential of what came before it and just brought it to the masses and like, bam, here we go. Yeah. Like, dude, I love Black Christmas. I love Peeping Tom. I love Texas Chainsaw so fucking much. I mean, I'm wearing a fucking hat right now. I love those movies, and they're classics in their own. But I think what Halloween did was take what came before it and brought it to mainstream audiences in a way that it hadn't been done to like that before. And, you know, and Sean Cunningham has made no bones about saying straight up that we needed to keep the lights on. Halloween was a success, so we said, let's rip off Halloween. He's full on said that Friday the 13th came off from wanting to rip off Halloween.
Yep. He just wanted to kill a bunch of teenagers, and he took that formula and he
fucking dude
up the amount of kills and up the amount of gore, and just made it into a thing. And again, you go, well, then he produced about that. Again, I mean, it's obvious at this point to everyone who knows, but like Friday the 13th, and that's why that whole fucking lawsuit's so ridiculous, because Jason really wasn't in it and all that shit. And Sean Cunningham, man, I still think I like House better than I like the first Friday the 13th, and it just,
dude,
it's
that
so
fucking
weird.
guy. What Sean Cunningham doesn't realize is the gold that he had with that movie. And he only realized it once the money came in, but he hated the fucking fact that that's what, like George Lucas, Sean Cunningham hates that he's known for Friday the 13th. And dude, there was such a good cause and effect with all that shit. Peeping Tom, Black Christmas, Texas Chainsaw led to Halloween. Halloween led to Friday the 13th. Halloween 2 came out, and Carpenter felt the need to replicate the gore that was popular in Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
So it's like all these things.
Yeah, it's just cause and effect, because it's like going off of what, I mean, and it didn't help that John didn't want to make Halloween 2. He really didn't. So it's.
Did you ever see that interview? I don't mean to keep interrupting you.
No, you're good, man. You're good.
Did you ever see that interview? Oh fuck! There's two of them. Two of them I'll talk about real quick. There's one on the set of the first Halloween, and this is Carpenter's fucking second legit movie, third official movie. Dark Star was like a student film that got turned into a movie. Assault on Precinct 13, fuck yeah. So anyways, so early on in his career, on the set of Halloween, this interviewer's asking him about all these fucking big directors, and he just talks shit nonstop. But anyways, there's another interview that Carpenter right after Halloween 2 came out.
Yeah.
And he talks so much shit on that movie, called it an abomination. Yeah. Like, this dude hates Halloween 2 because, to be honest, you know, as far as he's involved, he kind of wanted them to stop after the first one. There was never a sequel planned. So the fact that, like, I could understand Carpenter kind of being a little annoyed now with, like, dude, how many times can I, like, I just wrote the main, not the main, because that kind of downplays everyone else's work. But one of the pieces in the Halloween issue of Remind magazine, I did this one that I basically had to summarize the entire series. So I wrote this, and it was fucking so long that I had to cut it in half just to make it into the magazine.
Yeah.
So I wrote that, and there was a new interview with Carpenter in there. And, like, I remember being so stoked that there was a new interview with Carpenter, but then I found myself saying, like, well, what could he say that he hasn't said for 4 fucking decades? Yeah. I mean, there's good stuff. You know, hell yeah. Like, my friend Justin Beam did the interview, and he's amazing at it. But, dude, I could understand him going, like, dude, I'm fucking tired of talking about this, you know? Yeah. Like, I reached out because anytime I get super high, it's this weird fucking thing that I do, is I shoot my shot epically when I'm high. Yeah. Like, I full on will email a publicist and be like, hey, what's up with this? Like, there was one time I got super high and I just started talking about alpacas with Jeffrey Dean Morgan online for like 4 hours.
I love it, too, because it's like, it's that thing where, man, you get that inhibition up a little bit and out a little bit. And then just, because this shit's never going to, like, you shoot your shot, man. Like, that's why, like, you sit there and you do this shit and you go reach out to people, and like you and I have been talking about. You reached out to someone that I thought would be cool to interview, which no response because that person's busy as fuck. But it's like, why not? You just fucking ask. That doesn't matter, right?
Well, like dude, on my old podcast that I was doing, like I tried to handle as much as like the guests as possible. Yeah. And like I would always throw these names, and like I'd always be bent with like, wait, what? And it's just like, dude, the worst that's gonna happen is people are gonna fucking say no. You know, like, but anyways, I got super fucking high, and I emailed John Carpenter's publicist like a few days ago, and I go, hey, and the email. Their response makes sense based on reading my email back. I was like, hey, so any chance John and Cody Carpenter and Daniel Davies are freaks? I'd really like to talk to them about the Halloween Kill score. And I got an email back saying, yeah, John's not doing much press right now. He doesn't really want to. We're going to have to politely decline. And I was like, okay. But it's like, dude, he probably doesn't want to fucking be asked the same shit, dude. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, dude, it's when you... I don't know how many times you've been asked the same question, but it must get real old. And this motherfucker's been getting asked the same questions for nearly 45 years, right? Nearly 45 years. We're what, 2 years out from the 45th anniversary of Halloween at this point.
Yeah.
And he's been being asked the same questions over and over. And that's, dude, that's going to be what do you think about it? Like, we're here now, and 43 years is Halloween ends, right? So then it's gonna be like, how long the 45 years thing is gonna be really, get those questions up. And so,
it's crazy, and this leads into Halloween Kills. I had someone ask me a while back what the fuck it is about these movies that I love. It's the same with Jason and see, I used to be a huge Nightmare on Elm Street fan, but I don't enjoy that series that much anymore. I'm not talking shit. Yeah. It's just for some reason, I think the older, here's the deal. And this is going to get like super dark really quickly. I was molested a lot as a kid. Yeah. My children went through similar stuff at their other house. So I think after that, it made me kind of reevaluate the idea. Scary. Not just this was scary. The idea that a child murderer and pedophile turned into a pop culture comedian. Yeah. So like I can't watch many of them without being, why the fuck is this guy joking so much? But I'm not dissing anyone that likes those. I mean, they're classics for good reason. So someone asked me, why do you like these movies? And it's just like Nat Brimmer, a friend of mine, who just released the fucking Bible on the Puppet Master series. I would recommend this book. Oh my God, it's so good. My friend Nat Brimmer was on either a podcast that I was doing or a commentary, because that dude's done so much on different shows I've been on. And he mentioned how, in a lot of ways, these are our generation's Universal monsters. Yeah. And dude, that's exactly what it is. Yep. You can have 13, I'm not saying there's 13, but you can have 13 Draculas, Wolfman, Frankenstein movies, and people kept coming back for more because even as absurd as they got, these are characters they love. That's why, dude, I fucking hate Halloween 6, H2O, and Resurrection. Hate those movies. I will watch them every fucking time they're on TV, though, because it's familiarity. This is a series that I love. And it's the thing with Halloween Kills. Even people that... The majority of it's been people who don't like it coming at people who do. But there's been just as much of people who do like it kind of completely going after people who don't. Yeah. And it's just like, dude, we can't do that, especially as horror fans, because I'm not speaking for every horror fan. But I got bullied relentlessly for being a fucking nerd, according to them, and not wanting to break dance on cardboard and listen to Criss Cross and all the fucking stupid shit that kids in my class were doing. I just wanted, kids would go out and vandalize shit and have fun and do cool shit. I'd rent 5 movies for 5 days for $5 at my local video store. I got beat up for loving these movies all the time. Like, dude, these were my saving grace. And, I especially on Twitter and social media, what fucking happens, unfortunately, is a lot of us become exactly what we needed shelter from. Yeah. And that fucking irritates me. That fucking irritates me. Like, we come at people. No, you don't. Someone mentions that they haven't seen this movie, and people come from like, well, how the fuck could you have not seen this movie? It's like, motherfucker, I didn't watch Texas Chainsaw until I was 27 because I was scared. You know, like gatekeeping has infiltrated horror fandom more than the motherfuckers that led us into horror. We've become our worst versions online, and it's fucking sickening.
So I don't know if you know about this. This is like it was over the summer. There was a podcast called Nightmare on Film Street.
Yep.
And do you know about that whole shit show that happened?
Before that, really quick, I wrote for them for a week. Yeah. I wrote for them because they told me you needed to write this many articles in order to be a writer for us. You need to do all these things. And by the way, exposure. And
oh God,
dude, straight up, I'm not saying anything, hey, Jerry, because if anyone knows me personally, they know I'm the lowest self-esteem around. Yeah. I've been doing this professionally for a fucking decade this year. Yeah. I do not want to ever fucking hear exposure again. Especially if you have a Patreon making a bunch of money that you say is going to pay your fucking writers. Fuck that site.
Yeah.
Oh, anyways, go ahead.
So, I mean, we talked about it when it happened on this podcast a little bit. That the bullshit with them going in and going after the fucking other podcasts because they had Nightmare on something podcast names. And like, you arrogant pieces of shit. You fucking sit there and go, and those motherfuckers never even fucking truly apologized. They just fucking did a bunch of like, we're sorry that you took that the wrong way. And it's like, no, you're a fucking bunch of arrogant
dude, that is
pricks.
The classic gaslighting. Not I'm sorry that we fucked up, but we're sorry that you're offended.
Yeah. And
fuck that.
And you talk about like that gatekeeping in horror, man. It's like, dude, we are always the ones who watch these movies and are like the ones who love stuff that is weird and out there and not like commonplace. And it's like, why the fuck are you going to go after this stuff? It's like, dude, I grew up and I always loved horror. I didn't become like, I watched horror my whole life, but I was never like, sporting the flag, even though like I was like in middle school, like loving Insane Clown Posse and because they talked about horror. I loved Insane Clown Posse.
No, I'm not dissing you. It's just, I've always been fascinated with those dudes, not in a negative way. Just like, I don't get it. And I don't even mean like in a bad thing. I'm wondering what it is. Is it just like the community? Cause I know they have such a strong community.
It's a community. It's the things they sang about horror shit that I love. They were like, my favorite song of all time was probably they take the Telltale Heart and turn it into a hip hop song, and the community and like just had friends that were into it, and it was like that thing where we all felt different anyways, right? And then so you're like, oh, we're gonna do this and just hang out and be like, put on clown makeup and be like all this.
Did you do that?
And it was. Yeah, oh yeah, dude. In middle school, it's like 7th and 8th grade.
That is so cool.
I was real into them right around 13 years old, and it's that kind of stuff. It's like you were like different from everyone else, and you weren't like and that's shit. It's like why like a lot of it's like metal and like music that isn't mainstream, and a lot of it's like all this stuff, and it's just like why I don't get it. I talk about it all the time where I go, why if someone's not hurting you, why do you care? Mean like let people be happy, especially nowadays and now times, and we're in 2021 now, and where everything's bad for everyone, like because the fucking and you're sitting there not letting these people just enjoy. Like, so what? They haven't seen it. So what? I haven't watched Squid Game yet. The biggest thing on the internet, right? It's like dude, I binged
that, and it's not so much I binged that. I woke up and my wife was watching it. And it was, I think, like second episode. I haven't seen the first episode, but like I watched that entire show with her. Fuck, that is so good.
Dude, I think it came out the same day as Midnight Mass, and I think that was what fucked it with me.
I mean, that's obviously like the one I think is better, but
I mean, we both talked about it already. It was like, but man, I think we talked about this, and it's like, I just really would love people, and this is in general, because like. The people we already talked about Malignant. In the last 3 months, we've had people going, this is the worst thing ever, and it makes me so upset because not because like people don't like it, but it's people proclaiming everything to be the worst. Like literally everything they don't like is the worst. Like people didn't like Malignant. Cool, Malignant was a fucking dope movie, as we both talked about it and really enjoyed it. But why do you have to fucking shit on things when you don't like them that other people do like?
Yeah.
And
totally, dude.
It's funny because you look at the critics the critics hated Halloween Kills. Like they were like in the it's like 33% or something on Rotten Tomatoes. But the fans are like 77%. It was a pretty fucking high score for a fan movie.
Dude,
like,
someone got surprised recently because they were like, well, why should I watch this? The critics don't like it. And I commented, it was like a random person. I commented saying, I am a critic and don't listen to a single fucking one of us.
Yeah.
Don't. I do that professionally, and I'm full on telling this person, don't listen to any of us. Go watch it. Make up your own fucking mind. I'm paid to write my opinions on movies. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's not biblical. That's my opinion. That's like why every year, anytime I do a top 10 horror of the year for whatever Cider Magazine asks me to, I have to force myself not to read the comments. I do every time because I'm a glutton for punishment. But it's always like, why are you a horror fan? Because you liked 31. Turn in your horror card because you didn't list this movie. It's like, motherfucker, write your own list. Fuck off. You know what I mean? But like, there's two things about Halloween Kills. One of them I talked about when we recorded and it got deleted. One of them, really briefly, for people saying that this is the worst thing ever. And I say all of this with nothing but love for the Halloween series in my heart. I mean, anyone that knows me personally knows that my life is my wife, my kids, the Halloween series, everything else can get fucked. Straight up, I make no bones about that. Yeah. So I love this series. I've loved it since I was fucking 7, and I was a child of abuse that stumbled on Halloween 4, and it changed my fucking life dramatically. Yeah. Love it. But if any of those motherfuckers, see, I said those because I'm so emotional. Any of those motherfuckers want to call us the worst movie, or even the worst movie in the series, let's take it back a little bit.
Yeah.
You have a movie about a kid that killed his sister, and this might take about 2 minutes, so bear with me. You have a movie about a kid who killed his sister, escaped an asylum or a mental hospital or whatever facility, whatever we want to call it, in 2021. Yeah. Escapes it, goes home, gets obsessed with a girl who left a key on his doorstep only because she very faintly resembled his sister. Yep. Stalks her and her friends, kills most of her friends, gets shot at the end, disappears. Perfect. Then you have, oh no, she's his adopted sister? What the fuck? Then you have robots for a third movie. Yep. Then you have dude that was shot in the fucking eyes in the second one, burned alive, dead. Doesn't have any fucking thing wrong with his bones when he comes out of his coma and can see again in 4. Yep. Then is telepathically connected to his niece in 5 and has a man in black break him out of jail with an Uzi.
After being shot about 832 times.
Yeah. And then we find out that his whole reason for everything wasn't that he was pure evil, like Dr. Loomis said. Rest in peace, Sam Loomis. It's because of a senior citizen cult that worked at the hospital or the asylum that he was at, and they have him impregnate his niece. Weird. The producer's cut, you have Paul Rudd stopping him by placing magic rocks in a circle. Theatrical cut, they inject him with ooze. Looks like fucking Ninja Turtle shit, and beat him. Then we have Michael Myers invades Dawson's Creek. LL Cool J wanted to be a romantic fucking steamy novelist. Josh Hartnett not knowing how to brush his fucking hair.
His hairdo is bad.
And suddenly he doesn't have the black stuff eyes. You could see his beautiful eyes. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah. Maybe Loomis was wrong. Then you have Resurrection. You kill off Laurie in the first 15 minutes. He goes home, where his home is part of a reality show led by Busta Rhymes, who karate kicks him and shocks his balls at some point. Then you have the next movie, Rob Zombie's movie, where Michael Myers, he's not pure evil. He's just a sad, long-haired Kiss fan that is just from a bad house. And so he kills everyone, kills animals. In the early script, he jerked off on animals and he sodomized Judith with a baseball bat. I didn't
know that.
You have that. and he's pouty about not going trick-or-treating, so he kills his sister, gets into a hospital, turns out to be a fucking WWE wrestler. Yep. Okay. Next movie, we're almost there, guys. Next movie, you have Michael Myers after getting shot point blank in the fucking face at the end of the first one. He's okay. He cuts Richard Brake's head off, and he's led by the ghost of his mom and a fucking horse.
Yep.
What the fuck are you guys saying Halloween Kills is the worst? Yeah. Like, are you kidding me? Halloween Kills is fucking the Manchurian Candidate. It's Citizen fucking Kane compared to some of these movies. That and my second point really quick, and I'm so sorry for taking up so much time with this rant.
You're good, dude. You're good.
The second point is this. How many of us aren't fucking pissed at this point? We have lived, and I'm not trying to make this political, but we have lived over 4 years of fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
My oldest called me bawling the day that 45 got elected because they're trans, saying, what the fuck does this mean for my life?
Yep.
I've lost family members because they've drank the fucking Kool-Aid. Yep. We're all fucking pissed. And you know what? Yep. I'm privileged. I'm privileged because I'm a heterosexual white man. I'm privileged. I acknowledge that. And I try to use that to better myself. But motherfuckers, after the Black Lives Matter movement and all the fucking bullshit that communities have to do. And I'm not saying this has to do with Halloween Kills, but I'm saying how many of us aren't fucking pissed? Yeah. And Halloween Kills taps into that fucking perfectly. It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, dude, I wrote up like 2 pages of shit in just trying to get feelings out about this and a lot of things and just people's going to the fucking battle ends of shit for everything. And I quote in there fucking people who called every Republican over the last 30 years a Nazi and the devil and Satan, and just taking the power out of those words because they just kept getting fucking worse and they kept getting worse. And that's how you lead to the whatever the shit that's been happening over the last 5-6 years. And you sit there and you go, this is what happens when you fucking overreact and you call everything for being terrible and worse and nothing's before. It fucking takes the power out of the words, because when you say stuff like that, it means like when you call Halloween Kills the worst and then you never go back and watch Trolls 2 to really see the worst, or go watch The Fanatic with fucking, you know, all the shit in that movie and you call things that you just don't like the worst, you just take the power out of those words, and those words aren't like it's like saying I hate you every single day.
Dude,
right?
that's funny that you say that, because that's exactly what was in my head right now. I have to tell my kids, don't say that shit. Don't say you hate this person. Don't say you hate this, because that's a fucking strong thing to say.
Yeah.
Like words.
It should mean something.
I've always been fascinated with words. That's why I'm a writer, because if you take spelling, you know, what are the first 5 letters of that? Spell. And the spell comes from casting spells. It's words are magic, and that sounds fucking hippie-ish. I get it. We choose which letters we combine to make a word. We choose what words we combine to make a sentence. We have the power to build up people or destroy them. We like by saying everything under the sun's the worst fucking thing ever. We're influencing people to not give something a chance. Yeah. And it goes even more serious things, like you said, hate or calling everything Nazis and that kind of stuff. Like, dude, I mean, that takes away from like the pain that Jewish people experience because of the fucking Nazis. And I try not to get political, but I do think the last 4 years have been the closest we've ever come to that.
Fascism and all that stuff. And it's hatred and all the stuff that became apparent that it was okay and acceptable to spew, that like should never be okay to spew, because it was the route of, we're going to tear down the world instead of building up the world. And
I think that speaks a lot on Halloween Kills even. I don't think David Gordon Green and Danny McBride, and I think it was Jeff Toombs, I can't remember, the third writer of this one. I'm not saying they did it intentionally, but I also don't think it's I don't think it's subtle how Halloween Kills is a direct response to the collective rage that so many of us have felt over the last few years, and for good and for worse. I think it really shines a light on how toxic and fucking violent and hateful our own bloodlusts are.
Yeah.
Is that like, as you see in the movie, you know what I mean? Like at a certain point, because of what Tommy Doyle and a lot of Haddonfield does in the It Dies Tonight and this declaration, it gets good people killed. Good people make mistakes. It also gets a lot of good people killed by Michael Myers because they fucking search it out. Laurie does not search out Michael Myers in this movie. She didn't or she does. Michael doesn't search out Laurie in this movie. He doesn't search her in 2018 because, like the original, he didn't give a fuck about her other than the fact that she was at the wrong place at the wrong time. He doesn't. He's evil, and that's it's kind of like, I don't want to constantly turn this into a political thing or like compare Halloween Kills to Black Lives Matter because it's not the same thing. I think Black Lives Matter is something very important, very fucking important. And as much as I love Halloween Kills, it's not important in the whole scheme of life. But that said, the rage of Haddonfield to me in Halloween Kills, they're like every motherfucker that gets free reign to open carry, so they bring in an Uzi to buy a fucking donut.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? It's those motherfuckers. They're the Earls and all those motherfuckers in Halloween 4 that killed Ted Hollister because the bushes shook.
Yep. They fucking kill that motherfucker and are like, oh well, and they're like they justify they justify their means. Just like only about like the main characters of this one gave a fuck after the character who I'm not gonna spell it. Someone dies because of these mob actions, and guess what? They're like only the main characters seem to even realize what the fuck just happened. Everyone else is just like,
and some of them realize it too late. Like Tommy, and this is not a spoiler, but it takes Tommy a while to go, whoa, that's not him. And it's like I laugh every time I see that because it's like, motherfucker. So many people told you that's not Michael Myers, and he punches a fucking security guard, I think, at some point to get to the dude,
or a
cop or something.
He goes. Well, he's always got his mask on. This motherfucker's about 3'2", you idiot. Like compared to
the guy
Michael
they're going after, looks like the fucking penguin.
Yeah, exactly. It's that fucking. It's that witch hunt thing, man. Witch hunts are very fucking. I mean, they're a common thing in fucking with mankind, right? You go back to Salem and whatever happened with it. You can kind of compare this a lot to the Salem witch trials and Salem witch
dude,
because
100%, right? And even like stuff within the last 20 years. I remember after 9/11, the corner store that was around the corner from the apartment I lived in, the owners were terrified. Yeah. Because they were Middle Eastern. So suddenly they were terrorists to people's eyes. Or even recently, after fucking COVID. Dude, my kid's fucking teacher taught my daughter a week or two ago that all of COVID has to do because of Chinese people. My kid's fucking teacher.
Dude, I would lose my goddamn
mind. It is that bloodlust and that this is happening. We need to target these people that blinds Haddonfield in Halloween Kills. And that's why the movie is so special to me, to be honest, because it speaks so fucking perfectly on what makes us so fucked up as people in ways that the series didn't get a chance to before. And I read one person who doesn't like the Halloween series that much called movies like Halloween and Halloween Kills trauma exploitation. It took everything not to unload on this person.
Yeah.
These movies aren't exploiting trauma. These movies are shining a light on it in a way that a lot of these movies aren't given the opportunity to.
Trauma exploitation is shit like that fucking COVID movie that got made last year by, what do you call him? Where it was COVID 21 and that shit and all the bullshit that came on. That was trauma exploitation. That was the shit. Like, dude, even I'm sorry, like, I know that there were good means involved too, but they started making 9/11 movies way closer to 9/11 than they should have. Like, I think that was stuff that needed time to breathe and time.
I still feel weird about watching those movies.
Yeah, I never watched one of them because I was like, I want to experience it live, but two, it's like you're sitting there going, it feels dirty. It feels when you take that fucking movie they made about Sharon Tate with what do you call her? That was trauma exploitation with Lindsay Lohan.
Was it
Lindsay Lohan was in that? Wasn't
that one, or it was Hilary Duff, wasn't it?
Oh, Hilary Duff. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
written by the writer of Halloween 6.
Oh, was it? Jesus Christ. That's trauma exploitation. When you're taking real fucking things, you're taking real events, real people getting murdered. When you make fucking Ted Bundy seem like a fucking good guy, that is trauma exploitation. That is fucking taking off of characters that are who killed real fucking people, including like a 12-year-old girl that he raped and fucking killed. But that's trauma exploitation.
There's no. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, dude.
No,
you were
you're
going.
good, man.
There is a small subset of horror Twitter that they love to come out movies like A24 movies, or they love to come out movies that deal with these very important topics in horror. They like to scoff at these movies because they feel like it's just preying on people's mental health. I'm sorry. Yeah. I've lived with suicidal ideation since I was 7 years old. It takes a really good day for me not to wake up wanting to die. And it's a chemical thing. Yeah. I just don't I don't enjoy being alive.
Yeah.
I've gotten more out of these movies than any therapy I've ever had. And so those people can go fuck themselves.
Yeah. Dude, it's again, you're sitting there and just fucking going off about your ideologies and how your ideologies are the only things that matter, and like it's like music obsession, man. Like if I don't like say I hated the Backstreet Boys, I don't hate the Backstreet Boys, but I'm just using the Backstreet Boys as a fucking, because everything that I've seen about Backstreet Boys lately, and going, oh, if you're evil if you like the Backstreet Boys because they suck or something like that. They make really terrible music. But why are you doing that? And you're gonna go just offend or hurt the people who do enjoy the Backstreet Boys for no fucking reason other to make yourself feel important about your shitty takes on things. Right?
There are very few things that I'm like adamantly against. Like I am such a big fucking believer in art is subjective. Like I don't care what someone likes. I don't. Like you like something that I hate. Okay, that's fucking cool. My old co-host of my old show was a big fan of Jason Goes to Hell. Like he was wrong, but no, but like
but you didn't make it. Yeah, you didn't make him feel bad about liking it.
No, not at all. And there are very few things that I will just adamantly say, oh, you like that? Fuck that. And to be honest, all of them were made by Victor Salva.
Yeah.
Other than that, free game. Like what you like. Yeah. Fucking listen to what you listen to. Like, dude, my musical tastes are so all over the board that, like, who am I to judge someone? Like, I'll listen to fucking, like, I'm such a huge Taylor Swift fan. I'll listen to she's fucking great. I'll listen to her. Yep. I'll listen to Robin. Then I'll listen to fucking like Winds of Plague. And Every Time I Die is my favorite band of all time. But then I'll also listen to the Jim and the Hologram soundtrack. Who gives a fuck, dude?
Yeah. Dude, I think that's one of those things that as I've gotten older that I've just stopped giving fucks about what anyone thinks about me and how I am. And I go on the internet and put pigtails in my hair because my community thinks it's funny.
Yeah.
And do act like a goofball because it's I don't care anymore. I don't care what you think of me. I don't care whatever. I'm not hurting people and I'm not making people feel bad and I'm not doing anything like that. And that's all that should really matter, in my opinion. And like the people going off about the outrage of this movie are just like, I just think it's that fucking. It's that part of our society, and not just our society. This is a world thing where if you aren't like screaming the loudest about how your opinion's the most important opinion around, then you're not doing something. You're not getting internet clout. You're not getting retweets and interactions and all this shit. And I think it's just it's that we have that class clown mentality, but the class clown mentality has switched from just being like, kind of disruptive in a class of 30 kids to being a disruptive over a social media outlets that have billions of people on them.
That, and just to be completely honest, in school I was the book nerd who was reading a Stephen King novel wanting the class clown to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I never got off on that fucking let's fuck everything up. Let's be a dick. Yeah. Like, no, how about let me do my homework so I could get good grades and you could go to jail when you turn 18 and fucking chill. Yeah. Like that, and like, dude, oh God. We're an hour in, barely touching the movie.
I mean, it has
to do with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And like what Halloween set up so perfectly was this idea of if you don't confront the shit that you went through, you're going to live your entire fucking life with it on your shoulder. Yeah. And that was fucking brilliant to me because to be honest, I know a lot of people like Halloween H2O or H20 or whatever the fuck. And I'm not dissing them for liking them. That's cool. You know, like they got what I didn't get out of that. That's fucking cool. All power to them. But me, that was not the Laurie Strode that made a 7 or 8 year old Jerry find his voice. That was a Laurie Strode that, to be honest, was kind of a fucking asshole. She's kind of a dick in that movie.
Yeah.
The Laurie Strode in 2018's film was someone broken, obsessed with the fucking shit that was happening to her. It's the woman that would park outside of the transport, drink a bunch of mini bottles and cry about that shit because she wants it over with. She wants it over with. She's not hiding from it. She wants to fucking address the shit.
Yeah, and she's only to shoot Michael. Yeah,
she goes after him that whole movie, and I fucking loved that because how many of us that have went through some hardcore shit don't want to be like we want to be rid of it. I don't want to live with all the shit that I've had to live with for 40 fucking years now. Yeah. So that spoke to me. And Halloween Kills took that concept and it's like, how does our obsession with our own trauma affect the people we love? And what Halloween Kills is to me, it's people losing sight of what matters in a quest to quench this revenge. To be honest, if Laurie had just gotten help, these movies wouldn't exist. Yeah. Myers does not give a fuck about her. And that is the message of Halloween Kills. Yeah. Because of Laurie's obsession, other people got in danger. Because of Allison's obsession over the death of her dad from 2018's film and some other stuff, she gets other people into danger. Yeah. You know, because of Cameron being pissed about other stuff, he gets people he care about into danger. This all of Halloween Kills is people making catastrophically big mistakes and paying for it. And Laurie has that big monologue at the end that kind of speaks on like how in Halloween Kills, Michael Myers kind of turned them into the monster. Yep. Michael Myers is front and center this whole movie, which is so fucking cool how much he's in this one compared to 2018. Like he's in this movie so much and he creates so much fucking catastrophe everywhere he goes. But a large part of the blame for this movie comes on everyone's bloodlust and their desire to, everyone needs their own shit to get worked with, that they're blind to the fact that they're only making it worse. And I am go for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's a thing with this too that I've been thinking about right now as you're talking. I feel like there's a thing in this and that kind of gets brought up in this movie because I think it also has an aspect of making trauma about you when it's not. Like it's that thing where you know when you tweet out something and people are like aren't related to it, but like they try to make it about them also. There are a lot of people in this movie who are like, oh, I got to make this Michael's about me too. Michael, you know, you directly have the people that were Laurie and the people who got killed in Halloween, but you're sitting there and going, you have people that had nothing. Everyone in that fucking hospital, just because they're in Havenville, are making shit about them. And guess what happens because they make it about them? A lot of people fucking die, right? And like, it's
that, and like Tommy has that whole fucking monologue that he does at the bar. Yeah, and it's a good scene, but to be honest, like, here's I think what people are missing about this movie. They're pinpointing certain things about it and saying it's cheesy and that stuff. Tommy Doyle has always been a fucking loser.
Yeah.
As a kid, he was the kid that was he was like that kid, and I'm not saying that he was because he was bullied, because that's never fucking cool. But Tommy Doyle was that kid. He was kind of like, have you ever seen Fade to Black?
No.
It's about this movie obsessed guy who gets revenge on everyone. But he's always like, well, I guess you didn't know about this movie. I guess you didn't know what Hitler's favorite movie was. I guess you didn't know that was Tommy Doyle as a kid. He was that fucking kid. Now, Tommy Doyle as an adult is like, I was terrorized and this is my whole life. Yeah. He's like that person that just can't move on. And it's like Lonnie. Lonnie, dude, I never thought I'd give a fuck about Lonnie. I hated that character in the original movie. You know, Lonnie, get your ass away from there. Lonnie in this movie is a man broken by a very passing encounter. You know, there's a flashback scene, and Lonnie basically sees Myers. He gets bullied. He trips. He sees Myers walking towards him in 78, and he just cowers and said, "I'll never pick on Tommy again." Kind of shit.
Yeah.
And then it shows in present day, and he's like a dude that's like really kind of broken. And like, that was cool. Tommy, dude, I'm just going to say it. Tommy's a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
Tommy Doyle is responsible for so much of the shit that happens in Kills. And it's not a bad performance, and it's not bad writing. That's intentional. That character's supposed to be annoying. That character's supposed to be melodramatic. He's the motherfucker that all those survivors are at that bar. They don't want a fucking spotlight shined into their fucking eyes. Oh, this is Marion. She survived an attack. This is Lindsay. She was also brutalized. This is Lonnie. He survived a face-to-face encounter. Yeah. And it's like, motherfucker, get off stage.
Also, that was supposed to be a talent show, you piece of shit. Why was that a talent?
Your talent is depressing people? Like, thanks, Tom.
Yeah. Dude, how many? Okay, literally, like half the people that died in that movie die because of Tommy.
Yep.
Like, we're not gonna spoil it here until like we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the Tommy gets a lot of people killed by fucking making this mob mentality, and it's not like the mob in Halloween 4. They shoot one dude, and then a couple people get fucked up because of a lot less people die in that movie to their little mob to this fucking gigantic mob that fucking gets formed because of Tommy.
The only people in Halloween Kills that don't die because of Tommy, the
firefighters,
the elderly couple that, God, they're so adorable. The drone one, the drone people, and the couple that live in the Myers house. Those are the only people that aren't killed because of Tommy, and there are 30 some deaths in this movie.
Yeah.
It's
like half because of the fire. The firefighters are a big portion of that, but like,
dude, right?
It's that thing where it's the I don't know, just trying to get involved in shit you shouldn't get involved with is never. I mean, it backfires often, and it backfires hard in this movie.
Well, it's like the idea, and they touch on this very briefly towards the end, and Laurie kind of just having her monologue, which, to be honest, that musical cue, fucking A. It's called Michael's Legend. That is so fucking good. So fucking good. Carpenter and Cody Carpenter and Daniel Davies did some of the best fucking music for this movie. There's another cue called Frank and Laurie, where it's basically Hawkins and Laurie talking in the hospital about their mistakes, and there's another good musical point. But Laurie's monologue at the end kind of really made me think about things a lot, in the sense that, like, can you really ever get rid of evil? It's never going away. Yeah. Like, evil will never be extinguished. I don't mean in the series, I mean in real life. There are always going to be evil in people's hearts. That doesn't mean you need to chase it. Yeah. And that's what this movie is chasing fucking evil and getting killed over it.
It's the lines from fucking The Dark Knight, right? You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, and it's a very appropriate thing, because like these guys all they either die heroes, quote unquote heroes, or they all, like, the people who don't die are like, what of the monsters we've become because of what we were doing? You know, what, like, with good intentions or not, you people die because of you and because of your actions. And
that, and I wanted to say something, but it's spoiler territory. Do you just want to jump into that shit?
Yeah, here, let's do
it.
Yeah, let's just wrap up with this. Like, so we both love this fucking movie. I also think if you were a little middling on it the first time, watch it again. Like, especially on Peacock, go watch it again, because I think that the first time I watched this, a lot of the Tommy stuff is very weird paced, and we talked about that in the first recording. It's a little awkward, and you don't expect it the first time, right? The middle parts of this movie, but it the second time, when you know what's coming, it doesn't hit you as bad, and you get so much out of this movie. And I think it's, I man, if you don't like it, cool, but man, I think give it a chance, because this movie's fucking dope. I really really enjoyed it. So, and if you want to say anything else, and then we'll go into spoilers.
Oh no, I'm ready.
Okay, cool. We're gonna spoil. So if you haven't seen it, go watch this. Because it's fucking dope. It's dope. Okay, cool. Now let's get into it. So this movie starts off immediately after Halloween 2018. Laurie has locked Michael in her basement and set her house on fire. Man, I can't even imagine how much money she put into this house to do all that booby traps and all the gas and all the shit she did.
Contractor work.
Yeah, contractor work. Also, I had to laugh a little bit because the couple that gets killed by him after he gets done with the firefighters, they were talking about Laurie lives. You can't see Laurie's house. That bitch lived so far back on a fucking property in the middle of nowhere. She was able to shoot guns and shit off from the property. And you see that drive-in sequence with the podcasters in 2018. She doesn't live anywhere near that you could see her house. They kind of like talked about her house a little bit, those two, and I'm like, I don't know if you saw any of that because where she lives. But Laurie got stabbed by Michael at the end of 18, so she's bleeding pretty bad, and they're taking her. Also, when they show her, they fucking show some groovy stuff with her like, pulling up on her tummy and like when they're doing the surgery. And I don't know if they needed to, but like, what movie is it that they I'm trying to think of.
They did that with Halloween 2.
Yeah,
Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Oh my God.
Like, they're just like pulling fixing her hands and shit. Yeah, and shit. Yeah, and you know how that is after you're choking. But that was more brutal. But man, and she's like, let him burn, blah, blah, blah. But man, so they're driving off, and then we immediately go back to 1978, that right after the first one, where the cops are going after Michael after he disappeared after Laurie shot him, or not shot him, stabbed him, and he's no, because what do you call him? Loomis
shot him 6 times.
Yeah. I'm thinking I have so many things in my head with different timelines at this point. I'm just like, and so they basically we're meeting young Hawkins. Hawkins is obviously Will Patton plays Officer Hawkins in 2018 and kills. And Hawkins is basically pretty early on. Like this is first, like, he's not been a cop very, very long. And him and his partner go to Myers' house. And Myers basically grabs his partner, and Hawkins does one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in a movie and shoots his partner in the neck trying to shoot Michael.
He's just like a scared, basically kid. Just joined the police force. He sees Michael Myers choking his partner out. Who Jim Cummings plays his partner, who is a great writer and director. I don't know if you watched The Wolf of Snow Hollow.
I have not seen that one.
Yeah,
that
he made that
on the list.
His partner in the movie made that.
Oh, okay, yeah, because he was the main character in that movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wrote it and started it and directed it.
Yeah, so it's cool to see him in that. But yeah, go ahead.
He does that, and he shoots him, and basically he dies, and he's like, "You got him right," and he dies. I don't know how he was talking with a fucking large caliber round through his throat, but and basically this is an interesting turn for Michael, because Michael goes down and gets out of the house after that and gets surrounded by all the Haddonfield cops and basically surrenders. So not in this universe, that's how he gets captured. He makes all the cops in Haddonfield draw on him, and he's like, okay, I'll fuck around some other time.
And what's cool about that is later on in another flashback, we see that Loomis was about to fucking just put a round in Michael Myers' face at the end of that. And Hawkins is the one that stopped him. So in the first movie, in 78, it's been 2018, Hawkins' obsession with wanting to finish what he should have, finished what he should have, that makes sense. He blames himself for his partner getting killed, because to be honest, it was his fault.
He shot him. Yep.
another cop basically hides the gun, so Hawkins gets away with it. He stops Loomis from shooting Michael. Basically, it's not just Laurie that's lived with this lifelong fucking 40 years of regret. It's Hawkins too. So that's what I love about this movie. It speaks on not just Laurie. It speaks on all of Haddonfield, how they've all had to process what happened in 78.
Yeah. They lived, and I still think it was I think they should have stabbed Hawkins somewhere else. The doctor stabbed him in the neck, and Cameron finds him.
See, here's the deal with that. The neck, I get it. Okay. not believable, but okay. Like, he's not going to survive for that, but okay, you know, suspension of disbelief. Yeah. The thing that I have a problem with is Dr. Sartain running over him twice in that movie.
Oh, yeah. That was, his legs are fucking, that motherfucker wouldn't have legs anymore. Like, he backed up and then ran over him again. Yeah.
But he's pretty medicated in this one. I mean, Laurie straight up tells the nurse, hey, get my friend a double.
Yeah. Well, dude. That's like also that motherfucker would be in a coma. That motherfucker would not be awake at any point. That motherfucker would have lost so much blood,
especially the same fucking night.
Yeah, Cameron finds him in his Bonnie outfit, and saves him. But yeah, it. Also, we talked about it before. The first time we recorded the fucking makeup they did for Loomis was so fucking good. It was all practical effects, no CG. They just fucking make-upped him up and had a guy that. If you go Google it and look at the pictures, that guy, I mean, he's got the general old balding white dude look going to him, but they made him look almost identical to Loomis, and he sounded so much like Loomis. It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
So then we go back to 2018, and the firefighters have arrived to put the fire out, and this is where you learn that the way Michael survives the fire is he hides behind the gun shutter that Laurie had in her basement, which was incredibly clever because I wasn't sure how they were going to say he survived because he was in there for a while, man.
Yeah.
It was smoke inhalation and shit like that. And that thing was tight. He wouldn't have had that much oxygen, but he had enough to, you know, live. And like, then he could probably hear when one of the firefighters fell down into the basement with him, and he fucks that dude up with that axe. And then we were talking about this before, like, we're not still sure how he got out of the basement because the firefighter, why do you keep saying cop? But the firefighter put his arm down to like try to help his buddy out, and Michael grabs him. So I'm not sure how he pulled Michael. I don't know.
Maybe he like piled the bodies up.
Yeah, maybe. Like, he's like, I'm going to step on these two bodies and then like use them as a step ladder. And he gets out, and then it probably is the funniest scene in this whole movie is that the firefighter spraying him with a water. Like, no, dude, that's like throwing pebbles at Bruce the shark. That ain't gonna do anything, my friend. And Michael just goes ham. Michael kills, I think it's like 11 firefighters he had killed in the scene. He just fucks up everyone, and it's brutal, dude. That the saw kill is like, it's funny because, man, you think about it and you go, why did those motherfuckers were all horrified, especially after he fucking killed that first firefighter.
Yeah,
and they're all just scared, man. Like, firefighters are like, they're real brave individuals, but they don't fucking deal with violence. Violence is not what firefighters do.
Yeah,
they jump into danger, but they're not fucking, you know, they're not fighting and doing all that stuff. They're helping people. And Michael's there, and he just takes out all these people. Then we go back to the hospital. They're doing all this stuff. They're saving Laurie.
Karen's all pissed.
Yeah, Karen's pissed because her husband got killed.
And like, okay, this is one of the only parts of the movie that I just can't stand. And it's so small that I'm whatever. It's okay. But while almost immediately Karen and Allison find out that Michael lived.
Yep.
And then it just cuts to Allison going, "What?" And it's just like, it feels so jarring. Yeah. Like, it's so dramatic.
The editing is a little strange there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, this is all the whole, like, did Allison fuck up a lot because she knew that the fucking doctor had taken Michael to Laurie. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't say anything.
She does, like, right away, actually.
She doesn't say anything for a while because, like, the whole, like, they're all like, he's coming here, he's coming here, he's coming here, and then she doesn't say anything until, like, they figured out or whatever, or whatever happened. It takes a while. That's one of the things that, like, is like, it's a small nitpick. It's not a big deal, but, like, Allison, man, you might have not you might not have let Tommy Doyle, like, fuck up and, like, get everyone all roiled up if he would have said something.
Yeah. I think with Allison and Karen, I think a lot of their bad mistakes in the movie have to deal with the fact that Karen's lost her husband. Her mom might be dying. We don't know at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Her daughter's kind of gone. Because Allison goes with Tommy and Cameron and all of them and Lonnie to go look for them. And I think a lot of it has to do with, and this is another thing that I'm so able to just brush aside any nitpicks, is to be honest, I don't know how I would react the very same night that my spouse got murdered or my dad got murdered or something like that. Yeah. I'd be all over the place. My brain wouldn't know, you know what I mean? Like, that's like a lot of the choices that people are saying are bad choices in this movie, I feel like are intentional.
Yeah.
Tommy being a fucking dummy. I think that's intentional. Yeah. He's always been a dummy.
Yeah. I don't like it's you acting like these people are going to have a clear mind after, especially Karen and fucking
on
Allison.
The same night.
Yeah, exactly. No. It just doesn't So this is like Cameron finds Officer Hawkins, and he gets brought in and he puts in the same room as Laurie, which is cute. I don't know if that would have actually happened in real life, but it wasn't like it does a lot to help like progress those two characters and their relationship, which you didn't get because those two didn't even like run into each other in the first one in 2018, right?
One time. It's when Michael goes and kills Vicky and Dave. And the little kid runs out and Hawkins goes to look for him. And Laurie shows up and she accidentally hits Hawkins with a knife. And she's like, God damn it, Frank. And that kind of stuff. And you could tell that they knew each other. But in this one, during that moment in that one, it's kind of revealed that he helped her out during a really rough time in her life. And he always had feelings for her, but she was always caught up with Ben Tramer. Fuck yes. I literally started crying. I started crying that moment. I'm like, yes. Dude.
How many of your tattoos that came up in the
So many. Like I have I've said it a million times, so the listeners might know, but I have a graveyard on my right leg of meaningless characters in horror films that got killed. I have Ted Hollister from Halloween 4, Ben Tramer for Halloween 2, Demon, the guy that died on the toilet in Friday the 13th 5 after the enchiladas, and I have Shelly from Friday the 13th 3.
Yeah.
But dude, that fucking Ben Tramer, man. My God. I'm usually like, whatever, fan service, whatever. Ben Tramer, introducing him into this timeline and he's not dead because 2 hasn't happened. That is a lifelong obsession of mine. Yeah. I wrote an article that's coming out pretty soon, and it's over 1,500 words about the doomed love story of Laurie Strode and Ben Tramer and what could have happened just based on Halloween 1 and a little bit of 2. Yeah. Like, it's so fucking dumb.
I want in Halloween Ends a line where like Ben got hit by a train. Like you get some line where you got like some.
It's like, well, whatever happened to Ben? I don't know. He got hit.
A bear came out of nowhere and ate
dude, I seriously, straight up, I think Ben Tramer's going to show up in the third one. I think he's going to be Karen's dad. I don't know. I'm probably wrong.
He has to be because the only other option is Hawkins, right?
But they didn't do stuff.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying. Yeah, it's the only thing that makes sense at this point because Karen's in her like late 30s, right? So like you start 40 years later. The options aren't that all that great, right? With after that, so this is when Michael starts getting real sadistic. We go into this old couple's house who are fucking adorable. I love the old lady flying her drone, just like having fun in
around the house.
And the old dude like with his sleep apnea mask is like, this smells like shit ever since your mom like because she like was a smoker or something like that. And she goes, I think that's Laurie's house burning down. Michael comes in and like
my favorite line in the entire fucking movie is in that scene, and I'm gonna butcher it, but it's when they hear something and they're like, someone's in the house, and so they look in the bathroom and it's Michael Myers, and he instantly breaks the thing, and the guy shuts the door. He's like, oh shit, and he's like, honey, there's a big man in the bathroom with a scary mask. Dude, I laugh every fucking time, man.
I wonder if Michael was taking a poop.
Was he?
What was he doing at the bathroom?
He's like, dude, I gotta drop a deuce after those fucking firefighters.
No, he's probably like white, like, taking out all his.
He's probably playing with his Halloweeny, man.
Yeah, he's taking his, he's fixing his fingers he's missing, and his like slashes and fucking gunshot
Dude,
wounds. And
fucking destroys that couple, and it's so sad to watch. And that's the thing about this movie. Every death hurts.
Yeah.
Like, even this movie makes... And here's the deal. With Rob Zombie's movies, and I'm not dissing his movies, like I said, everyone likes different shit. But his movies just felt cruel without any meaning.
Yeah.
This movie is exceptionally cruel.
Yeah.
On purpose.
Yeah.
Like, you hurt.
Everyone's cruel in his movies. That's the problem, right? Like, especially in 2. Like, he does a trauma thing where it's like you become like you get trauma. Laurie has trauma in the first one,
and a year later she has dreadlocks and has a Charles Manson poster.
She's like a cunt at like that point. And the lot of what I like about that movie isn't the characters. I like what the zombie doing crazy shit and beautiful shots and everything like that. But man, yeah, and so. He smashes the old dude's head against the wall, which is like the new Michael's like, you know, go-to thing is just he slams people's heads against things all the time to like get them out of the equation.
Yeah.
And then he fucking goes deathmatch wrestling on the old lady and stabs her in the throat with a light tube. You ever watch like there's a deathmatch wrestler named Nick Gage who does.
Is he the one that almost killed David Arquette?
Yeah. And he always takes light tubes and like cuts people's heads. Like, you know, he cuts them, like he breaks them and then like rubs the broken glass on people's head. Those things are fucking sharp. And then when you're as big as Michael Myers, you could do what he does. And then as she's dying, he drags her fucked up, probably brain dead husband over and decides to make an art exhibit out of him. And it's one of those things, and my wife said it. She's like, he's making art because he throws him over, picks up a fucking knife out of the butcher block, and just goes kabonk, and then like grabs another one, kabonk, grabs another one, like leaves. He makes him like it's this weird thing that you learn like later on in the film, but like and they never really address it. And the most thing they go into is Hawkins goes, he's a 60-year-old man and like with the strength of a full-grown man. He sees death as an art. It seems like he's like, you know,
it's almost playtime.
Yeah, it's playtime.
And like people have said that Halloween Kills could not be further apart from the original film. This Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills, to be honest, are the closest to the original film. Not in tone, not in violence, but in Michael. Michael in the first film is all about setting up these things. Laurie goes in, her friends are set up in a closet like this. Her friend was set up on a bed. He stole his sister's headstone. It's a game to him. He's a kid. He's a fucking kid. Every other movie. Exactly. Or like, you know, we'll probably get to that. But the couple in his house, he does at like kind of like his own little like setup thing too.
He makes a match of the painting, or the picture.
Yeah, there's a picture of these two men that live in the Myers house. And which, dude, they're two of the best characters in the movie.
Oh yeah, they're so good, man. Like they have these little side characters that are just like they're not like often slasher characters are just so like
they're fodder, dude.
They're fodder. And these two just seem like people who are just like they were just trying to go, what the fuck is happening? And then they get brutally murdered, both of them, right? And
one of them gets stabbed in an armpit. Like that hurts so bad to see.
Yeah. Yep. Dude. And then the Tommy Doyle's at the bar and they go and they start like they talk about those two bodies and the cops are there, and then they show the little kid that got babysat in the first movie who was like significantly older. He's like, I need to go get my smokes, but my number one babysitter, she was pretty dope, but I need let me light up another cigarette because I'm 73 years old. The kid they only show his head.
We were watching the movie in the theater for the third time, and my kids were like, "Wait, Tommy, is that the nerd from Breakfast Club? Is that the bully from Edward Scissorhands?" And I was like, "Yes, it is." And they're like, "Wait, what?"
Man. But yeah, and so Tommy seeing that the little kid on the news and everything is like when he starts rounding everyone up, and they all go to the hospital because I think they figured out that This is they go outside and they think that Michael's in their car. One of these couples thinks Michael's in their car, and it's not. It's the last remaining
in 2018's film when Aaron shows Michael the mask at the beginning. They show a lot of patients. There's the guy, the Figaro guy. There's all of them, and there's one kind of short, kind of beefy man, balding, and it shows him. And when the transport bus crashes in 2018, they all escape. Well, at the beginning of Kills, in a throwaway line, it said that all of the mental patients were accounted except for two.
Yeah.
And it shows Michael Myers with his face blurred, which is cool that they never full on show his face. And they show this other short man. And basically that poor man is just looking for help because he's confused. He doesn't know what's going on. Yeah. And Tommy, because of Tommy, all of Haddonfield seems to think this poor man is Michael Myers. So
he's
this poor man.
Yeah. Like he's scared. He seems very childlike, like Michael, right? It's that isn't all there. I mean, he was in a fucking mental hospital. He wasn't all there, right? And he fucking tries to drive a car and crashes it because he doesn't know how to drive a car.
They think he's Michael. They all go to the hospital, and this is really important, I think, to the movie. They all go to the hospital because Tommy wants to tell Laurie that 40 years ago, and that's the thing, Tommy says 40 years ago so many fucking times in this movie. It's we get it, dude. Chill out. But he tells Laurie, it's okay. 40 years ago, you saved my life, and I'm going to save yours. And that speaks volumes on Tommy as a character. What Tommy is he's that person where somebody will be hurting, and someone will say, You're hurting. Well, I'm going to take care of it. And it becomes their fucking thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. And basically Tommy riles up everyone at the hospital. It dies tonight. And hundreds of people are fucking rioting, basically. And they go out onto Haddonfield. And what's cool is about, we could touch on the plot, but what's cool about this fucking movie, plot is so light on this movie. And people say that as a negative thing. I think it's fucking cool. It is literally Michael escapes. He kills people on his way to his home. That's it. That's his whole desire is to get home. And Haddonfield going through all of Haddonfield looking for him. And they come in his way and they try to take on shit that has nothing to do with them into it. And they get fucking killed. I mean, one of the best scenes in the movie is pretty early on. It's when Lindsay, Nurse Chambers, and the nurse and doctor people from 2018's film, they go look for Myers, and they go to a playground where these little bratty kids are talking shit, and they see Myers. And dude, it shows how little this movie cares about your feelings. Yeah. Michael breaks into the car, recreates the classic slap the fucking windshield thing with the fucking wrench on his hand, painted to not look like it's a wrench. And Nurse Chambers has a gun, and she's shooting so many shots that she runs out of bullets, but she doesn't figure it out. And she's like, "This is for Loomis." Click. Myers immediately gets in that car and stabs her to death. And then that other dude's trying to choke him out, and he just goes like that with the knife, and the knife goes right into the dude's eyeball.
Yeah.
And it's brutal. But what you get is Lindsay is the resourceful one. She's the one that while everyone's making stupid mistakes, she's putting bricks in a fucking knapsack and hits him upside the fucking head and bolts and hides.
One of the best parts about the thing is that the doctor lady or nurse lady, whatever, is trying to shoot him, and he kicks out. By the way, I'm pretty sure there were 8 shots from that, or 9 shots with that Desert Eagle. I think there was an extra shot. I won't give it too much shit. No, but he knocks the gun. She's trying to shoot him, and the gun goes off, and she shoots herself in the face. So you idiots. It's
going against shit you have no business going against.
Yeah, exactly. It's the trying to tackle something you can't tackle. That'd be that would have been if suburban us, you and I went over to Afghanistan in 2003 and said, we're going to get Osama bin Laden. It's basically the same
I get shot the moment I stepped in.
Yeah, exactly. It's these people who aren't supposed to be here and doing this shit because they have no skill sets. They have nothing. They all split up which is another thing that's fucking idiotic. They all go into these little groups. You know how easy Michael kills 4 people that don't know what the fuck they're doing?
Mm-hmm. And then the craziest part, and it's the most idiotic part that a character that I actually like makes the decision with. Lonnie, who has changed his ways completely since being a kid in the first film. In fact, I think Lonnie's one of the few characters in this movie that I'm like, fuck, that guy died. That sucks. He takes Cameron, his son, who has such a good redemptive arc in this movie. God takes him to the Myers house with Allison, leaves those two in the car to go check it. And they hear a gunshot. They go inside.
They split up.
Cameron finds his dad dead. Myers shows up, stabs him in the fucking dick, basically.
Yeah.
Allison fucking stabs the shit out of Michael. Michael fucking hits her head into something, throws her down the stairs like a fucking rag doll. And then we get easily, in my opinion, the most painful death to watch, and that's of Cameron.
Yeah.
Michael Myers fucking destroys this kid on purpose just to fuck with Allison.
Yeah.
And dude,
it's so funny because we got to go back to Little John and Big John. But like when he fucking starts slamming Cameron's head, he's done with Cameron. And then he goes down the stairs and he's like, oh, this guy's still here. Ka-chunk, and like rotates his head like a fucking action figure.
But
like,
the whole
it's like,
no, it's painful to watch. And the whole reason for that is kind of a genius one, in my opinion. It's that Michael's whole goal is to get home.
Yeah, it's what a 6-year-old would want. He just
wants to go home. And he goes home, and who lives there? A couple who has since redecked the whole place. It looks fucking wonderful. It's this realtor couple, this gay couple, Little John and Big John, which it's funny because like in Robin Hood, you know, like Little John's like this massive dude, and it kind of applies to this one too. Big John's kind of like the small, stocky dude. Little John's really tall, Michael McDonald from Mad TV. Yeah. You know, like
I said Big John has to have a huge dick. That is what it has to be. Big John has to be packing in like Little John is like, oh, because you're Big John, I'm the top. I can't handle like no, but they're the fucking cutest couple in the world
ever.
They're like the couples that, like you said, every death like fucking hits you in this movie. It's like every single one is like they even in little amounts of fucking screen time, they make you feel bad for these characters and like. Or like you care for these characters and then feel bad when they get fucking taken out.
Yeah, they get fucking murdered, man. So bad.
Big John gets fucking. He was the one you were talking about getting stabbed in the fucking armpit, and you're like, and then his fucking eyes. Can you imagine someone digging their fucking thumbs into your eyes like that, like and just like slopping out, like just popping out an eyeball?
I know
like
the way that my brain works. I would be so fucking pissed at that moment saying, dude, my armpit already fucking hurts and now you're poking my fucking eyeballs out? What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
And like one thing I noticed about Little John, and it applies to every character in this movie, it's the characters that take time, not so much Little John, but other characters for sure. It's the characters that take time to try to spout off their fucking one-liners that get fucking killed. It's the heroes of this movie, and Little John isn't a hero, so this I guess it doesn't apply to him. But there's a couple characters that do these one-liners, and it's like they immediately get fucking killed.
Well, I said it before in our first recording. Little John, Michael went back to his sister's window to stare out. That's all he wanted to do.
That's it.
He had his back turned to Little John, and I'm wondering, and this is maybe you have a comment on this. I don't know. Like he talks to Michael because he sees his fucking husband. He sees Big John just like fucking destroyed on the ground. Why did he say anything? Like Little John could have left. Like he could have ran away. But
I think it's that panic, you know. To be honest, if I saw my wife on the ground dead, I wouldn't want to leave her. You know what I mean? I'd probably die too, to be honest. But like
that's what I'm wondering. Like, is he's going like, fuck it, Michael, just take me out. You fucking took the love of my life. You took
So that's what happens. He's I think Little John kind of gives up. You know what I mean? And like basically that's where Michael is at that point. He's home. He just wants to be home. And then fucking Lonnie, Cameron, and Allison show up.
Yeah.
And then you get like a finale that is so fucking cool that I don't know why people hate it.
Yeah. Well, dude, he gets fucking Karen goes out and like Michael's about to kill Allison. After like he shoves her down the stairs after she goes ham on this motherfucker. She just stabs him like 3 or 4 times in the stomach with his butcher knife, and he's about to stab her. And that's a scene from the first trailer. It's like, do it, motherfucker, or whatever she says.
Yeah.
And Karen shows up to save the day and stabs him in the back with that pitchfork that's been like they were like talking about earlier in the film. And then takes off his mask and runs away with it because she knows how important this mask is. They all know that this motherfucker needs his mask all the time. And it's one of those, I really, really love how they just keep the little amounts of his face they do show is like, they show his eyeball, which is fucked up from the original movie. And she leads him into because he's a 6-year-old, he wants his toy back. She leads him to the fucking Tommy Doyle and all his friends, and they fucking go ham on him. They're hitting him with baseball bats and Huckleberry as Tommy Doyle's been carrying around the whole film, and just fuck him up. But that this is where these people are unprepared. They didn't have what it takes to kill him. Even Karen, who stabs him, doesn't stab him anywhere that takes him out of the picture, right? She stabs him in the back shoulder or like by the spinal cord, but doesn't stab his spinal cord. And she walks away, and then they don't do anything. They don't finish Michael off. Mm-hmm. Guess what happens? Motherfucker gets up and just fucks every one of them up.
And here's the deal. Who's the loudest fucking character in that movie? Tommy. How fucking easy does that fucker get killed?
Yeah.
Sheriff fucking Brackett with his fucking big words. Hey, Michael, everyone's entitled to one good scare. He's the first to fucking go. Poor fucking Sheriff Brackett had to get involved. I get it. His daughter got killed 40 years ago. But dude, that dude had no business being there. Michael gets up and immediately slashes Brackett's throat. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
He kills so many people in that scene. And then Tommy, he runs towards Michael. Michael just shanks him, puts him on the ground, and he gets that baseball bat, Michael does, and fucking destroys Tommy. You see blood flow into the air.
Yep. Tommy, man, you try to make yourself a hero when you're not a hero, and fucking bad things happen, and that's what happened with him. And we cut back to Karen sitting there with Allison on the front of the house, the Myers house. And I don't know why. I'm not sure why Karen does this, but Karen goes upstairs to that second floor, and Michael had snuck in the back door, and he fucking stabs the ever-letting shit out of Karen.
He kills Karen as a last-minute fuck you to the audience.
Dude, and you're just sitting there, and it was generally shocking the first time I saw it. I'm like, what the fuck? Because I didn't expect that. Like, you kind of like it. I compared it the first time we recorded it, and I'll say it again, to like when Jigsaw gets up at the end of Saw. It's not like that level of like holy shit, but it's pretty close up there. It's like you expect Michael just killed all these motherfuckers and walked away, but no, he went back to his fucking house, and I'm gonna really be interested to see in how they set up that I'm wondering if they are gonna capture him and then he gets out after that, or if he just wanders off to be hobo Michael Myers again, because he took a lot of damage in that, like, especially that last half an hour of that movie. He got stabbed with a pitchfork, he got stabbed with a knife 3 or 4 times. He lost a lot of fucking blood. So I'm wondering if they're gonna find him or what, and how it's gonna turn out to be. Like, because I could see them setting it up where Allison convinces Laurie to like he's in a home again, or locked up, and she convinces Laurie to go after him just to for revenge, and he gets out because of that or something like that.
See, that's a good idea. And also, I think I said this before too. David Gordon Green said that the new one, Halloween Ends, is going to take place present day, so 4 years later after the events of Halloween Kills and Ends. And it's going to have to do with kind of the pandemic era. So the idea of what you said would be great, but I also think it would be great if just the idea of all of us having to stay inside because of quarantine kind of shit. And that would be a perfect example of Michael Myers being in your house from house to house. We can't really go anywhere. Like, that's terrifying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. You're
the possibility. Yeah. The possibilities are fucking endless. And I think Halloween Kills just set up so much. And honestly, dude, without a doubt, my favorite movie of the year. I fucking love the movie so much.
It's been so good, man. And it's why, like, I want to, like, when we lost audio for the first recording, I'm like, I want to talk about this. And, like, it's funny how many different points you and I have even gone through with this. Like, when we already talked about it for an hour and 45 minutes the first time. It's, dude, I if you don't like it, okay. Like, but I think that there's, like, I think that especially after Halloween Ends comes out and you can sit there and watch all three back to back, because that's how we watched Halloween Kills the first time. My wife and I, we put Halloween 2018 on and then went right into Halloween Kills because it's like that instant continuation. And I think that they did such a good shot. Like, people going, oh, it's only part of a story. Well, it's a trilogy, you motherfuckers. It's the fucking Empire Strikes Back of this thing. It's the you end on a downer note. I mean, Karen getting fucking butchered. Michael's killed everyone in this fucking town at this point. And yeah, man, I just really am looking forward to see how they end this, like, this story and how they end what they've set up here, because I feel like they know these characters and they've done such a good job of making this, like, this universe where Laurie is Laurie and Michael isn't I want to kill my sister. He's just evil. And this is the truth, man. If anyone stabs, a 6-year-old stabs his older sister to death, you're evil. There's not, like, this motherfucker, 6-year-olds don't have reason to fucking do anything like that. It's because he's fucking fucked up in the head and evil, and just, that's all. And that's enough, man. Like, it's all I need in a slasher. It's the same reason. I mean, Jason Voorhees is a fucking like an 8-year-old or 10-year-old, whatever he is, that drowned or whatever he was. He, it's that child mentality of just whatever. And it's that same kind of stuff, man. I just feel like they did such a good job with this movie with, like, doing, the kills were brutal. The characters were cool. The dialogue, complaining about the dialogue, I mean, I didn't hate any of the dialogue. They did a couple, I mean, I'm not going to say it was perfect. They said evil dies tonight way too many times. But, like, I don't care about that. Like, it's, dude, I go back and go watch some 80s slashers and tell me that this movie isn't 100 times better than most of those movies. Like, literally 100 times better. This movie is... the everything about it, the cinematography, the like you talked about, the John Carpenter's score is fucking awesome. Like, everything throughout this, the violence is fucking dope. Everything in this movie is fucking cool. And, like, man, I just don't understand why you would not like it, but okay, don't like it. I'm not gonna come after you. I'm not one of those people. So
yeah, I'm into it. I like it. Good stuff.
Man, I know you are, and that's why I wanted to talk about it again, man. So it's good, man. And I just sit here bullshitting with you because you're my dude, and it's fucking awesome. So, man, watch this before I don't know what Peacock's doing. I don't know if they're keeping it, like, for a month, like HBO Max, or what they're doing, or this is just gonna be on there. But go watch it, man. It's Peacock for a month is $10.50. I think was what it was. So it's worth it. There's a lot of cool horror movies on Peacock also, besides this. So it's definitely worth watching. They have all the Leprechaun movies, so you could go watch Leprechaun in Space. And that's all you
can't go wrong with those.
Okay, so Jerry, we're going to go talk about, I don't know when, but we're going to talk about the first
Power.
The first Power, yes. We're going to talk about the first Power next week. I'm gonna edit this after we up and put it right up. But is there anything else you want to say about this before we get out of here?
No, I think I'm good. I think after 2 times we've covered it. No, I love the movie. I seriously, I hope that people are able to watch it with an open mind. It's nothing complex. It is a slasher with a bunch of people getting killed. It is called Halloween Kills. It's not called Halloween Nurtures. There's
Halloween Cuddles.
It's not Halloween Hold Your Hand Through Haddonfield. It is a fucking wild ride. If you don't like it, you don't like it. It's that simple. Don't tell people who do like it that they're stupid. If you like it and people don't tell them they're not fans of the Halloween series if they don't like it. Yeah. I fucking hate every Halloween movie from 1995 up until 2018 redid it. I'm not a fan of Halloween 6, Halloween H2O, or Resurrection. I don't like Rob Zombie's first movie. I think his second movie's fucking brilliant if it wasn't a Halloween movie. So you can be a Halloween fan and not like everything. Just like you could be a Blink-182 fan and realize that Neighborhoods fucking sucked.
It's like going and hating people who like Halloween 3. Because I know people that Halloween 3 is their favorite Halloween movie.
It's fucking great.
And it's just like, whatever, man. You like what you like, and that's all that matters, man.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. Okay. Well, Jerry, you are on the interwebs at Jerry is just okay on Twitter. And you want to talk to Jerry. He's very receptive. He's a cool dude to talk to online. Murdermoose.com is the website. Murdermoosepod is our Twitter. I'm Rod_Johnson on everywhere. So shoot out and talk if you guys want. I always try to talk to people, especially if you like questions or statements or whatever. I always try to respond also. So, okay, guys. Jerry, I had a blast yet again. I always have a blast talking to you.
Sounds good.
We'll talk to you guys later. So have a good one and bye.